If everyone is ready, Mr. Marquez, we would like to begin with you. You're recognized for 5 minutes to provide remarks on the pending bills that we're considering today.
Thank you. Chair Luria, Ranking Member Nels, and distinguished members of this subcommittee. On behalf of the National Commander, Paul E. Dillard, representing almost 2 million dues-paying members living in every state and American territory, it is my duty and honor to present the American Legion's position on pending legislation being discussed here today. I will focus the time I have on emphasizing why Chairman Takano's bills are so important. I'd like to begin by stating that I am a retired Marine Sergeant Major and combat veteran with over 31 years of service. My family and I emigrated from Mexico in 1974, and I was raised to appreciate the opportunities this nation could provide us in the form of the American dream. As a result, I felt that as the eldest son, it was my duty to take the oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. While my military career is filled with fond memories, I would be remiss if I did not address the difficulties we experienced during the various stages of the naturalization process. A journey that almost cost me promotions, career-enhancing assignments, and the same livelihood that I fought to defend on behalf of other Americans. My first assignment took me to Okinawa, Japan, where deployments were consistent and I was focused on learning my military profession. Discussions about citizenship revolved around the difficulties in applying from an overseas location, so I was advised by many to wait until I returned to the U.S. At the end of that tour, I married my Japanese fiancée, and she was granted a humanitarian parole to accompany me. After filing for citizenship in California, faced with an intense deployment schedule and a 2-hour drive to the nearest immigration office, I was subjected to canceled or missed appointments, lost paperwork. The struggle to obtain my citizenship lasted almost 3 years. Once I became a naturalized citizen, we immediately filed my wife's application for permanent residency, but due to similar issues I had experienced, her process took 4.5 years. Just prior to my combat deployment in Iraq, while I was aboard ship, I received frantic news from my wife that she had unknowingly missed an appointment and she was going to be deported. I immediately contacted my congressman in California, Ed Royce, and then his successor, Ms. Linda Sanchez, who was able to assist my wife obtain her permanent residence. I then headed off to combat shortly thereafter, but I was at peace knowing my wife would be taken care of. During the same 8-year period that it took my wife and I to obtain citizenship and a green card, my military career exposed me to significant events, including 3 promotions, 2 reenlistments, 4 geographical moves and address changes, 6 different unit assignments, and deployments to real-world operations in Central America, Europe, and the Middle East. My story is but one example of the thousands of stories that service members, veterans, and their families go through in their journey toward achieving the American dream, to becoming a citizen, and for some, returning to America after being deported. Over the past century, military service has opened a reliable pathway to U.S. citizenship for more than 760,000 immigrants. In the last few years, however, the pathway has been obstructed. Citizenship assistance programs have faded from military bases. U.S. veterans from other nations are serving honorably and discharging as resident alien non-citizens. They come out confused. Why did their service not bring them citizenship, let alone expedited citizenship they believed was promised to them? And then in the worst cases, they are deported and disconnected from the VA benefits that they earned. Thank you, Chairman Takano, for your leadership on behalf of our immigrant military peers who served honorably but were later deported because U.S. citizenship was next to impossible for them while they were in service, fighting on our behalf. The American Legion proudly supports the Veteran Deportation Prevention and Reform Act, and the Honoring the Oath Act that addresses naturalization during service and protects our non-citizen veterans and their families from unwarranted deportation. We thank Chair Luria and Ranking Member Nels for their incredible leadership and for always keeping veterans at the core of their mission. It is my privilege to represent the American Legion before this committee. I look forward to answering any questions you have on these or any other bills in the written testimony. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Marquez, and especially thank you for sharing your personal story. I think that really puts in context how important this legislation is, that we consider it, and understanding, someone who served honorably like you, that you and your wife went through such hurdles to achieve your citizenship, and we want to make sure that we ease that process for current and future military service members and veterans.